How's it going out there, YouTubers? Cyberneticshark here with all new video for you. So let's go right into this video and see what I'm going to be talking about. So welcome to an all new video out there, YouTube land, and all subsequent social media lands. Welcome. In this video, I will be telling you the top 10 best horror villains, in my opinion, video here. So let's go right into this, people. So starting out at number 10 is none other than a villain that we have known for 4 films since 1996 and ended with the last one in 2011. He did subsequently come back in a TV series for it that has had 3 series or seasons on MTV. Now, you're probably wondering, yeah, you know who I'm talking about, right? Candyman, right? No! I'm not talking about Candyman. I'm talking about Ghostface. Oh yeah, Ghostface. So Ghostface is, I think, a really great villain because he's an everyday person that decides all of a sudden, I'm going to start killing people for some odd reason. And it's just these average Joe people that decide all of a sudden, oh well, this person caused this in my life and I'm going to start killing people. And that's the reason why I kind of put him down at number 10, simply for that fact, because he's like an everyday average Joe. He's not like some of these other characters that is killed and, comes back and stuff like that. So Ghostface I put at number 10 because also I believe he deserves to be on the top 10, but also I think he's the weakest out of all the villains that I'm about to talk about. So coming in at number 9 on the list, number 9, people, number 9, is none other than a character that has been in quite a few films. He had an original run in 4 films, and then he had a couple remakes recently made of this character. He is loosely based on a real-life serial killer, and I loosely base this numbering for this character because of that fact, that he's based on a real serial killer, and I feel that, just because he's based on a real serial killer, he's not on the top of my best villains list. And that, of course, happens to be none other than himself, Leatherface. Oh yeah, Leatherface. That's right, Leatherface. So Leatherface, you might recognize, of course, from the first 4 Texas Chainsaw Massacre films. You got Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1, 2, 3, and then you got the Next Generation one. And then you also have the remakes that came out in the early 2000s, which were really well done as well. You also have the most latest one, I believe, was 2013 that it came out. That was another subsequent sequel of the newer generation of the remakes as well. Now, this, Leatherface himself, like I said, is loosely based on Ed Gein's, because he wears the face mask that's supposed to be of human flesh and stuff like that, which is what Ed Gein's did. He would kill people, use their skin, etc., etc. So that's another reason why I put him down at number 9 on the list, like I said, is because he's based on that real character. But also I think that Leatherface is a really badass character because he has the chainsaw, and he works really well with it, and I think it's a great villain character that is really fun to watch in these films. And he just is a really awesome, villain as well, so that's why he makes it into my top 10 at number 9. So coming in at number 8 on my list, number 8 is a character that has been in 4 films that started back in 1960 and was considered a huge horror classic and one of its first of its kind, and so beautifully directed by the great Alfred Hitchcock. Yeah, that's right, you know who I'm talking about, right? Jimmy Stewart's character, right? No, I'm talking about the awesome and amazing Norman Bates. Oh yeah. So Norman Bates has been in 4 films, and also he was in, I believe, 5 or 6 seasons that was based on the movie itself that Freddie Highmore played in, and Vera Farmiga in the show Bates Motel as well. But this character is so awesome because he's so unsuspecting. He's even better than your average man. He is your average man, but he's even more devious than, say, Ghostface is. And I put him higher than Ghostface and Leatherface because I think he's just has a lot more crazier demeanor than these 2 characters to it as well, because their kind of psychological profile just goes back even further than those 2 characters. And so I just think he's a lot better villain than those 2 previous characters, and that's why I put him at number 8, because he just really is an awesome character. Enjoyed him. He is just so awesome and evil, but at the same time you kind of feel sorry for him, and he just is an interesting character. But yeah, definitely Norman Bates is awesome. So coming in at number 7, That's right, people. 7 on my list of the best villains, top 10 best villains, is none other than a, a shorter villain character that has been terrorizing for years. He's been in several films. I believe the count right now is at like 12 or 13 that this individual has been in, and is just a really awesome, amazing villain that I think doesn't get enough credit for how evil and awesome he is. And that, of course, is the awesome, you got it right, laddie, the Leprechaun. Oh yeah, Leprechaun. Ooh, Leprechaun is such an awesome character, so beautifully played by Warwick Davis for many of the films. Recently, it's been taken over by a couple other people too as well. And he's just such a great evil villain character. I love just like the thoughts and the ideas that they came up with how to have him do like evil things and stuff like that. And he just is such a great character because, especially because it has Irish background to it, which I absolutely love Irish things. And he just, that whole idea of, you know, him looking for his lost pot of gold and stuff like that is just a really awesome. And the very first film, the Leprechaun series, is such an amazing film with Jennifer Aniston in it. And it's just such a great villain character, and he's so devious and so awesome. And because he's such a smaller size of a villain character, he does just as much damage as these bigger guys like Leatherface, or, you know, people that are like size of Jason and stuff like that. So it's just a really cool character that I thought they did a really great job of developing and giving so many shoots of, you know, offshoots of films and sequels and stuff like that. He just was a really awesome, and so that's why he made it into my top 10, and he's at number 7, and I think he's a lot more better than the previous 3 I've talked about. So coming at number 6 on my list, number 6 is an evil character that is very well known from hell, and has had at least 11 to 12 films about this character as well. And recently it was just noted that soon it's going to become a TV series as well. Have you guessed it? Waterworld? No. Wrong. No, I'm talking about the amazing, awesome Cinnabot himself. Pinhead. Yes, Pinhead. Yeah, so Pinhead, played so masterful by the amazing Doug Bradley, and so beautifully created by Clive Barker. He is such a great, awesome character. I think he's such a devious character. I mean, he's even better than all the previous people I've talked about. He's just a really cool and awesome type of character that was created. At the same time, like, his whole philosophy and his, you know, him being from hell and him having, you know, like this whole to bring hell to earth and stuff like that is just a cool concept as well. Because a lot of people, you know, either fear hell, or they believe in it, or they really enjoy it, or like they like to see it really happen. And it's like this whole philosophy makes Pinhead such a crazy and amazing character that you just kind of rooting for, but at the same time you kind of despise. And he just was such an amazing character, just like his transformations he makes the films, and how he kills people, and how he like brings destruction to people and stuff like that. It's just so fascinating and fun to watch. And, you know, that's another reason why I feel he deserved to be in this top 10 list. And that's why he's at number 6 too, because he just is so much better and more powerful than the previous 4 I've talked about. So coming in at number 5 on this list, number 5 people, is none other than the Halloween Master himself, who is just awesome, amazing, has 2 new movies coming out, and that is going to be played once again by the awesome and amazing Mr. Castle himself. This character has, you know, been terrorizing people since 1978. Is just an iconic character, and his face mask is based off of William Shatner, which I think is hilarious. That, of course, is Mr. You-know-who, Michael Myers. Oh, yeah. So Michael Myers, we all know from the Halloween franchise. He's been in several of the films. He was in 2 remakes that were made by Rob Zombie. They're recently started to make some new sequels, kind of a loose reboot sequel to the original film. That's just really awesome, bringing back Jamie Lee Curtis and stuff like that, which is really awesome. And this is just a amazing character. I mean, he is like, because he's so kind of like immortal kind of character, where he's been shot, he's been stabbed, he's been burned. I mean, everything that's been done to him, and he still keeps on coming back. And it's just so awesome and amazing. And just this character is just so awesome, and just like the thoughts of where they took the character. Further down the movies, they kind of like made it where, like, as a baby, he was like given a curse to make him live forever and be indestructible and stuff like that. And just that whole concept and that whole kind of like canon that they've, you know, brought into the character is just so much fun, and makes him a big part of this top 10, characters being such a great villain, and he never dies, and everyone has a huge following for this character and thinks he's a badass and thinks he's awesome, and it's just a really enjoyable villain, and it's always fun to see where they take the character next. And that's the reason why I decided to put him so high up on my list, because he's just such an awesome villain and one of the best ones of the last 50 years. So coming in at number 4 on the list, number 4, people, number 4, is another awesome villain that I just think is amazing, awesome, and he comes to you in your dreams. And recently was considered a pansy ass by some people, saying because he comes into dreams and kills you, that makes him the less weaker of the villains of the last 50 years, and I don't agree with that, because he is badass to the bone. And then of course you know who, and he has been in about 7 to 8 films now, and that of course is Freddy Krueger. Oh yeah! So Freddy Krueger is just an awesome character. The whole concept of having that glove with the razor knives on it was really awesome. So beautifully brought to life by the awesome Robert Englund, and just really brought this character to life, gave us this really great person to really fear, especially because he comes into your dreams. Kids were going to sleep and fearing him in their actual dreams because he seemed so realistic, and that's what makes him such a great villain, because in your dreams you do dream of crazy things that could mess with you in the dreams and could physically make you panic attack in real life, can do all kinds of stuff. So this was such a great concept of a character, and him being also he's after children and stuff also makes it very dark and crazy too as well. And so this character just is even better and awesomer than the previous characters, and just he towers above these characters and brings to life this amazing character that, through so much intervention too, and the movies that they've put him in, he's done some crazy spectacular things in these films, and what he's done to kill his victims as well. So it's just a really amazing character, really fun to watch, and is a really classic, and that's why he's in my top 10 list at number 4, because he's just really awesome. So coming in at number 3 on this list, number 3, people, in the top 3, yes, top 3, is none other than Mrs. Voorhees' son, the amazing guy that has been terrorizing Crystal Lake for over 40 years. He's just an awesome character, and is, towers and makes, Leatherface look like a small person, makes him look tiny versus, this guy. And that, of course, is Mr. Jason Voorhees. Oh, yeah! Jason Voorhees. What an amazing character. I absolutely love Jason. I think he's one of my all-time favorite horror film characters. Every single incarnation of his films have been amazing and awesome. Lots of great action, lots of great, scenes, basic plot, kill these people that are fornicating, stuff like that. Your basic, kind of similar to Halloween, but with his giant machete. And the different ways that he's killed people and how he's been killed have just been so awesome compared to some other characters, because it's like such an awesome type of concept. And with Jason supposedly going to hell, and he's been in space, and he's had to fight Freddy Krueger and all this stuff, he just is an awesome character that just will not go away and die. He is so freaking amazing. And he ends up killing Freddy in the end in Freddy vs. Jason 2. So that right there shows you who's the top dog. Jason, baby. So yeah, Jason Voorhees is one of the best villains out there. Always will be. And I think he will always be top 3 in villains history, because he's just so damn cool and so awesome and just so gigantic. And he's my number 3 on this top 10 list. So coming in at number 2 on this list, people. Number 2, that's right. Number 2. Can you guess who number 2 is? Can you guess who's number 2, people? Number 2. Well, if you guess an interesting character that even scares John Waters, then you have found the right person. Now, this character has had over 10 films now too, and is just an awesome character that just keeps bouncing back and forth, getting reincarnations. He just got a remake of this character in the form of a different type of venture, going towards the AI aspect versus it being a person that is possessed, being thrown into another object and so forth. And if you are guessing Jennifer Tilly, you're wrong. No, I'm talking about Charlie Lee Ray, a.k.a. Chucky. Oh, yeah, Charlie Lee Ray. Such an awesome character, so beautifully brought to life by Brad Dourif. When they decided to do a remake last year with Mark Hamill doing the voice, I was kind of skeptical because I feel Brad Dourif, hands down, is always Chucky, Charlie Lee Ray. And this character is just so awesome because he gets into this even smaller body, like unlike the Leprechaun, and still kicks butt and causes all these craziness to happen. I mean, just the whole idea that the longer he's in the doll, he becomes more human and can be killed and stuff like that too as well. It's just an awesome concept. And this whole character and just the evolution of where they've taken Chucky is just an awesome feat too as well. And I think it's just so much more entertaining than I've seen in other, horror villains. And it just makes me like him the most. And that's why he's my number 2, because I just think he's really awesome, badass, and is just really cool. And I've always enjoyed him and thought he was one of my favorites of all time. So coming in at number 1, that's right, people, we're at number 1. Number 1 on the best horror villains of all time. Can you guess who it is? I mean, because there's been other types of villains over the years. There's Victor Crowley, that was in the Hatchet series. I mean, we've had tons of other villains, There was the Hitcher. In the Hitcher, you had that All Hallow Eve series. You've had the Candyman, stuff like that. I mean, we just had tons and tons of, amazing villains over the years. But my number 1 villain favorite is none other than has been spawned into 8 films, and a 9th one was due out this May, but it's been pushed to May of next year, and is a amazing idea of a serial killer type of character that actually never actually kills the person himself. He makes the person kill themselves. And I think this is one of the best all-time villains of all time. And that, of course, is Mr. John Kramer himself, Jigsaw. Yeah. Want to play a game? Hell yeah. So this character is probably my all-time favorite villain of all time, because the whole concept behind what he is doing is such a great concept. And just the whole idea behind what John is trying to prove and what he's trying to do is to make these people basically kind of almost like a rehab almost, but unfortunately they have to go through a gruesome rehab in order to get to the other side. And unfortunately they might get injured on the way versus where, a person that's like going to drug rehab, they could OD while they're trying to detox and stuff like that. Same type of principle. And that's what John, I feel, is trying to do. And that's what makes him such a great villain and such an amazing villain, because of that type of concept. And I remember the first time watching Jigsaw, I was just blown away by it, Saw the first film. And I couldn't believe how great of a story and creature and idea this person was. And just as the movies went on and it just explained more and more, you instantly feel for John, and you understand why he's doing it, and it's just such a great character. I can't say enough good things about it. So beautifully played by Tobin Bell over the years, and just a really fantastic franchise and great character. So my number 1 is Jigsaw, people. Jigsaw is the best villain of all time, I feel, and he is my number 1 of all time. So that's it for this awesome top 10 of the best super horror villains there is, people. And thank you for watching. Thank you for liking. Also, thank you for subscribing. And if this is your first time here, or you have been here before and you haven't hit that subscribe button, don't got to ask one of the villains to ask you politely to hit this. Come on. Do I have to ask the Wishmaster? You know what happens when the Wishmaster gets asked. Come on, people. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss this video and the awesome videos I put up. And always, people, keep your eyes out for any older new videos you might not have seen mine yet. As always, people, check out my awesome Patreon page where I post bloopers, outtakes. I put up like next current ideas that I have on deck that I'm going to be doing as a video, behind the scenes and all kinds of cool stuff. And it's a great Patreon page. So definitely check that out if you haven't. It's a really fun page. Link is down below, or you just go to patreon.com/cyberneticshark. You'll find it there too as well. And as always, people, thank you for watching. Like I said, I appreciate it. I do this, guys, because I enjoy it. And you guys are the best. Thank you to all my awesome subscribers, and thank you for bringing me to 200 subscribers. I think that's awesome. I'm clearly on my way to 300 eventually. My final goal was 1,000 at least. so that I can start using this as a awesome tool to make some money, hopefully, so that I can make even better products for you guys and better videos and stuff like that. So thank you very much. And as always, catch you in the next one.